Yo guys, good evening. We're going to do Magnus's base tonight. I know the other day we talked about doing the tabard and the other bits of cloth and so on, but I wanted to get this done so I could be ready for picking up that rival craft delivery of basing powders and tufts to take this from just being painted to being something truly, truly special. So I want to get this bit ready right now. Also, I haven't undercoated the other bits yet, so it's like, alright, fuck it, we're just going to do this. How you guys doing? In the chat, we've got Nick McDade, Commissar Bob. How you doing, dude? I know it's a short stay for you. Des, Crash Test, Chimo, AJC72, Sally Craig. How you folks doing? Hope you've had a great weekend. My weekend was not what was planned, basically. But it's okay. It's okay. Let's get on with it. So, I've picked up a quick selection of greys. I'm going to do all of the steps and the pillars, and then this little plinth with the pillar on there in a grey. I want those to be nice and cool and stand out away from Magnus. Done a little bit more work on Maggie himself. You see we're starting to get those colours come through on his wings everywhere. So it's not just that sort of grey-white that we had on there beforehand. So that went down. And the wings, we're trudging through them. These are a pain to paint. This one is completely done on this side. One side completely finished. This side, as you can see, haven't quite got to some of these large feathers just yet. We've got to do all of the individual feather lines all the way through this larger set as well once all those are done. And that one wing will be done on the white, and then we can get on with the little bits of design he's got on there as well. But seeing as this one had to come off the stand, it was getting in the way for me to paint these highlights. Let's see what this looks like, as long as we can actually attach it. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. Timmy Spruce, not much. So the more you spend, the better, right? Tony Montana, doing well, dude. How are you? Yeah, I'm liking that. That's a good look. By the time you got that on this base, it's going to look baller AF. So let's pop him to one side, out of the way, and let's get going on here. So like I said, got a load of greys. We've got a couple of dark greys, got some Eshin grey, some Mechanica Standard, then we've got a lighter Administratum, and just black to see what we can do to get that nice and dark, get a lot of contrast right at the very start. Pro Jam, how you doing, dude? Right, let's get some flow improvement going on. Working on some Space Marines here, bro. Nice, man. So the first thing we're going to do is do all of the grey bits. We know what all of that is. The rest of it we can kind of make up as we go along. So that's this section up here, just to provide a little bit of a backdrop for when that goes in there. All of the tiles, all the steps going all the way down here, the pillars as well. On the underside, there's nothing really that needs to be done grey. We've got a load of roots that we'll pick out, and we'll start getting some greens and some browns in a bit for that. There is a little bit of a regimented sort of step here, so we'll try and get that in a grey as well. And just have a little bit of a different colour coming around that one side. We'll pop a little bit of black and some of that Eshin grey in the airbrush, and let's get started. Timmy Spruce, it's a good start, mate. It's a good start. Keep it up. I've got a basket full of stuff I want for my Necron army, with the exception of a couple of the Necron characters. This is like everything I think I'm going to want for the Crons. And it's not a small number. It's not a small number. Danny Tubbs, if you spent 100 quid on Element, I would have got more than £1. Ventress, how you doing, man? We need to teach the Tabletop Tactic Boys how to actually play Knights. Look, I speak to Mike on a regular basis. That's Chef for all of you in the chat. Oh, Knights are the worst army in 40k. Yeah, you're right. It's about the player, not the game. You know. So let's get a good coat of grey down on all this. We want to make sure we get pretty much into the recesses, but because this had a black undercoat, I made damn sure we got in those recesses on. It's not the end of the world if we don't. Now the biggest challenge for painting this is going to be its size and weight, much like myself. Just making sure we can manipulate it without grabbing all the bits that are still wet, so on and so forth. It's just going to be a little tricky from that perspective. So this thing does weigh quite a substantial amount. I'm not too fussed about getting any of this on what will be our brown ground here, because that's going to all be covered up when we airbrush that in shortly. Yeah, I'm basically planning to paint all of this base using the airbrush, and then a couple of inks basically. A little bit of brush highlighting towards the end, especially to bring out some of the awesomeness of these cast tiles that Damien's done, but otherwise pretty much the whole thing airbrush. I did say that this bit will do grey, just provide a nice backdrop to that plinth with the burning orb on. Otherwise, let's grey up everything else. But Knights are not an army that you can win with by just bounding forward and hoping for the best, unless your opponent is absolutely rubbish, or you get such a great first turn that they have absolutely no chance of retaliation. You have to play the mission, because that's how you win in 9th edition, which means that you can't play out of position. You have to think about everything. Everything. So it's one of those. Everyone says, oh, Knights are easy mode. Knights are easy to play because you don't have mentioned with data sheets. You only got a few models to worry about making a decision with. So yeah, they're easy to play. Knights are hard to win with because every single decision you make has got to be absolutely spot on. It must be perfect. You can't fuck up. You might only have 6 decisions to make a turn, but if you don't get every single one of those decisions absolutely right, it's not happening. You're done. Pack up your shit. Game over. Crownblade, how's it going? Danny, awesome, mate. Hope your practice has been going well as well. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be making a real push on those private lessons, guys. So, if you're thinking about getting some private tuition, then please message me in Discord so as not to miss out. Going to be advertising that soon on Instagram, Facebook, you know, all the usual places. So it will fill up. There's only going to be a limited number of spots available. There's only a couple of nights a week that we're able to do it. Right, like I said, one of the challenges of this is going to be its bulk. This is quite heavy. trying to position this so I can get the shot so that you guys can see what's going on, as well as actually hold the damn thing. Tricky. What about private game tuition? Don't believe in it. There's too much to teach. There are people that do coach. There are some that I would definitely not pay for their lessons. There are some out there that you just shouldn't even consider. Yeah, but Daddy Tubbs is my left hand. You know. Yeah, you should just not even consider like going with them. As far as I'm concerned, unless they're a world champion, don't. Tony Spruce, thank you for that host, mate. Hosts mean loads to streamers, so it's always appreciated when you do that. Helps put us further up the front page, helps get us more views, etc, etc. And it's just nice. Alright, you should have a pretty decent coat of this Eshin Grey mixed with black now. I did say there was a little bit under here we want to get, and you know what, there's just this little bit as well. Make that look like a little bit more of a platform that was carved rather than anything else, but there's a little step here that's kind of easily visible, so we'll make sure we hit that. And I think we're pretty good on there now. Look for any other areas. I think we're all right. So let's go up a little bit with our grey. We're going to run some of this through, and then we're going to add in, I think we'll just skip Mechanica Standard Grey and do 2 or 3 different passes with Administratum Grey. So just going to pop in some more Flow Improver, and then away we go. Hey, you shit. Snake, how you doing, man? Danny, I'm glad, mate. Oh, damn, are we nearly out of this? We are. Okay, we're going to ignore Administratum Grey. Much room to try and buy some of that and grab Celestra Grey, which got plenty of. That's good. Voodoo Yaz! How you doing, man? I asked Des to pass on my regards to you today. Hope he did. You've been slaying it on Instagram with these fancy beers, mate. The Mexican chocolate stout that you were drinking the other day. Oh, God, I wish I could have had some of that. That sounded good. Craig, hey, I hope gym business goes well. That's got to be real tough right now. Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin if I was doing that sort of thing. Okay, so we've got a lighter grey. What we're going to focus on to begin with is all these tiles. So, been building your tester stockpile, now it's been discontinued. It's been discontinued. Hold on. Fast on games. Tester Dalco. Oh, unavailable. Shit. Shit. Let's try the other place that I usually get it from. This is like the king. Availability out of stock. No. Oh, shitballs. Is it actually discontinued? Fuck no. Oh, that's just not good. Oh no. That's such a kick in the ass. Okay. Don't panic, don't panic. Fucking panic. That's super, super shit. Balls. Rocky, we're doing the base because I've just forgotten to paint his bloody plinth for that base colour. Fuck. Yes, we're doing the base because I haven't undercoated the other bits I was going to do today, which was the whatchamacallit, the fucking tabard-y thing that he wears. So yeah, we're on the base instead. Let's get this top section. I'm so gutted that dull coat's been discontinued. Fuck. Totally didn't know that was going to happen. I'm being made redundant, and that's the worst news of the week, put it that way. Oh, super shit. Okay, right, with these bricks, what we want to do is we want to have a dark area in the middle and a light area around the outsides. Now, not only that, we want to keep these recesses nice and dark. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray essentially the outside of each of these little blocks. And the reason we're doing that is because if the center of it is darker, it's going to look ever so slightly concave, because it's been worn away by like the path of feet over a millennia or whatever. So we're just going to make sure that the outside edge of each of these gets a highlight, and then the same on the steps. But we're going to have more of a recess, a darker shade in this area. So on the steps we'll kind of be doing this, little C shapes, and on these we'll do a quick all around kind of trace. Fucking testers discontinued. That's super annoying. So keeping relatively close, we're using a lot of air and not a lot of paint to allow us to get into a nice controlled cone of our paint. Just going to give us that effect we were just talking about there. Just hit the edges of these. And you can see already we're getting the effect I'm after. Right? Nice and simple. No issues whatsoever. Could you dry brush this? No, not really. If you try to dry brush this, all of these areas, these raised areas in the middle of each of these little floor tiles, would all pick up what you're trying to paint. You then have to come back in and darken down the inside area of each of these, which is why dry brushing isn't always the best thing to do for a base. Daddy Tubbs is clearly living in his own mind. So, let's carry that on. This is the one and only time you might find me drawing boxes around things. So, I know Rob said that he's been putting together some Slanesh fiends or something. Or steeds, one of the two. What's everybody else been doing for their hobby? I've got 10 Primaris Marines put together. I've got some more work on Magnus done, so Rocky, here you go. We're carrying on with the wings. Here he is. We've got most of the way through this wing. We got up to about here with the highlights for it. Still got this section to do. And then the red on here and so on. And then butt shot. I haven't wedged this in properly because I still want to remove it for things. But you can see we've managed to match this colour to here. Again, all of the areas of feather on his body. Need that highlight. Voodooyah's getting his sub going on. Absolute superstar. So, yeah. Loving the way this guy looks, but fucking hell, the giant pigeon is... those wings. Those wings. Just that side, I spent 2 hours on earlier on today. They just take forever. All that edge highlighting, man. get back to it. I love how we've got a slightly sort of crazy paving look to this when a lot of these tiles are different shapes and different sizes. Painting poxwalkers, nice. In before, this is £1 million on eBay. £8. That's so expensive. And it's $6.50 delivery as well. That's fucking horrendous. I know it's a seller's market on that, now it's been discontinued, but god damn. Snake Plissken getting his sub on. 11 months, dude. 11 months. Shit, man. It's coming up on a year. Let's get some love in the stream for Mr. Plissken. I guess it's going to have to be airbrush varnishes from now on. That sucks. The testers I've got would just be for like those times where I just need a quick varnish on something, or I need a particularly like special property of it. So one of the things it does is it's really good at melting silvering, which is the outside paper you get for transfers and so on. Got a new coat of Space Marine today. So baiting, brushing the dust off my space pups. Nice, mate. Nice. Hobby supply restyle instead of stocks and shares. Why not, man? Why not? You can see what we're getting out of this. We're getting lots of control. Basically just lock the thumb in place so that I know exactly how the paint is going to interface with the miniature on the way out. Just stay controlled. All we've got to do is provide like the basis for our final effects using the airbrush. This isn't going to be the finished effect by far. We've got the powders to go down off of this. We'll be trying out the MiG ammo powders from Sarah at Rival Crafts. Yeah, so you got a nice little tiled floor effect. We're keeping those darker areas in the middle to make it look like it's a worn floor. How many fiends are enough? Do I just go for full 27? So, put it this way, the list that could have won No Retreat had 3 fiends of Slaanesh in it. You want a fuckload of demonettes because you want them doing actions, raising banners and so on. We've also got objectives secured. Whereas fiends have got an ability to modify your leadership, which really helps. That's sort of it. They're not terrible in combat, but I mean, I wasn't worried about them. Binkleton, how you doing? Well, Too Many Sprues, you could be this good too with the addition of a couple of painting lessons. You know, easy, right? To be honest, it is easy. Like, it's just reps. That's all. Airbrush practice. Make sure you're working on. Let's see what's the best thing to. Just like sniping in some highlights, yeah? So like getting some edge highlights down with an airbrush. Start practicing doing that. And do things with your airbrush you think, I'm probably going to fuck this up, but we'll give it a go. Because what's the worst that could happen, right? You repaint part of a mini. Done. That's it, right? Nick and I have been trying to get a day's worth of painting lessons happening for I don't know, since what? March? What's going on the base? Says Brian. Magnus. So we're still obviously in the process of painting Magnus, as you can see. But this is a base for Magnus, the blue / Technicolor. Alright. On the front facing of these steps, we're just going to try and get across the top line there. All airbrush control really comes down to is making sure you only put the right amount of paint out and it's pointed at the right thing. That's it. Those are the secrets, guys. It's not about air pressure, as I've shown several times. You know, airbrush at 45 psi on that initial trigger pull. And you've seen me do that with the thinnest possible paint. You know, we've watered down inks with actual water and still managed to get that coming through how we want it to. So you've seen me do that. You know it's nothing to do with that. But how are you feeling, by the way, Nick? I'm assuming you're good. So with steps, we're making this a slightly softer curve. We're trying to avoid hitting much of the way of like the front facing here, but that's what we're after. See, I got a nice darker recess in there. Now we just do the same. So start with building up the edges, and then just get that kind of parabola. Back and forth. Don't leave your airbrush in one place for too long, just keep it moving. You'll keep that transition coming along. You can see how many passes we're doing to build that up, right? And then just colour in the corners once you're somewhere close to done. Yeah, we must have gone like 30 passes to get that, but then again you can see we've got a nice smooth transition. Happy days. Emphasize the front part of that step a little bit more. Bam. And the reason to do it this way from a distance as well is because you're making your cone of paint really diffuse. And if you can do that and you can keep it like that, then you're a better chance of having a nice smooth transition, because the aerosolized paint that you're firing at the miniature, in this case obviously it's a large scenic element of a miniature, but you're going to get much smaller sort of particles. As they hit the mini, it's going to be a little bit smoother for any of those transitions you want to do. Do now is I'm just going to hit these corners a touch more. Those to be essentially a sort of focal point for each of the steps. That's the brightest area that we're looking for on each one. Like so. So you can see that's much more pronounced effect just by hitting those corners. Easy peasy. Right, let's get these steps. Same deal. Obviously want to try and avoid getting much paint on this pillar. This top one, we're going to leave the recess, just the area nearest to the step above it. So we just come in at the front here, hit the corner and come around like so. Yeah, you can see the area there, it's slightly darker, a little bit more wear on that. Now I just want to get a little on the front of each step. I've forgotten what the technical word is for the front part, the flat bit at the very front of the steps, but just there we want to do like the inverse. So we want the darkest bits to be on the sides, just to have the steps light up a little bit along the way. So the mini steps, bring in the brightness on the outside. Try not to get too much on the step below, it's not the end of the world, it's going to come in with a shadow anyway. And then flip it and hit the center, like so. Okay, step face, it could be. Polly, how you doing? Hanging well, slightly to the left. Keep going. Going to be a little bit closer in, slightly more tight to the miniature now, because these steps being smaller, just need to have a little bit more control. So by coming closer, you're going to get some of that control back. Whatever that was full of dust. We've got Magnus's windy hole, which is absolutely full of dust and shit. But there we go. It's the front section, and just grab that middle again. This is going to help when we start getting right to our edge highlighting and so on and so forth. It's a load of detail on this base. We want to pick it out. We want to make sure that the front edges of our steps are nice and sharp. Quick bit of brush work. Certainly the pillars are going to need a fair bit of brush work as well, picking out all those edges on the, was it octagonal? Yeah. God, such a shame we couldn't get 9 faced pillars. Didn't even know what that one was called. Decagon is 10. Decahedron. What's 9? Gee, you're gonna have some moss weeds growing through the cracks? Absolutely. Cheers, a lot of funny. You're a twat. Got a riser. There you go, Leonardo Sparta. I knew there's a real word for it. 2D Spruce, see yourself out. After that pun, see yourself out. Right, on all the pillars, we want the darkest area to be at the very bottom. So we'll leave as much of that a darker colour as we can. With the exception of the crack. We've got to highlight the crack. Go on, get a joke out of that one. Don't want to hear about your highlights for your crack, Nick. Tricky to hold. Can't, it's too clenched. Brilliant. Highlight the crack and then just get the edge. Pillar. Again, leaving those darker spots, same as we have on all these floor tiles. The other pillars, much more simple to get to, hopefully. So starting from the top and then just work that highlight down all the way around. Because we've got such a large area, we can afford to do a couple of passes. Basically use exactly the same colour for our next highlight, just because we're increasing the opacity of it by going back at it again. And for this highlight, we're just getting the gradient from bottom to top. So darkest to lightest, right? When we get towards the higher bits of like grey, we will just highlight the outside of each of these, again in the same sort of way that we've done this. Nick, you should be ashamed of yourself, young man. Some of the stories you told me. Same on this one. And then just around the outside at the top of the pillar. So we're just turning the mini. That's just force of habit calling this a mini. This is definitely not a mini. Just turning the base away from us so we can make sure we're hitting the edge nice and easily. Like so. Alright. Got a little bit of a step just here and just here to do as well. So let's make sure we don't miss those with our highlight. I know I'm going to at some point. Drop that down and then come in with another quick pass on some of the upper areas of this. Still trying to work out what colour to do this bit of fire. We've had pink and orange on the blade of Magnus, the blade of change. Quick coat on the top and down the sides, turning this to make sure we've got the right angle for it. So you see we're turning it back against ourselves and spray down past that corner to hit this section, and then we're just moving that spray in along the top there, and then we can hit that corner nice and easily, and then just sort of repeat that all the way around. Happy days. Again, flesh some more of this through. We'll be adding in more Celestra Grey. I can imagine dating Jay. I prefer my women with less Y chromosome. Fair. It's a strange turn of conversation. Nick, you'd fucking leave your missus for me if I told you I'd cook you mashed potato every night. You'd be out on her like a fucking shot for that mashed potato. In fact, you've said as much. My mashed potato. Normally, because it goes alongside a steak as well. Yeah, I thought about that. But we've kind of done the pink / purple. We've done the orange. So we might wait till we've got to the very, very end, just to see sort of where we're where we're heading to in terms of our colour balance. Get everything sort of assembled apart from that one thing. Then do that at the very, 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 very end. So, got much, much brighter grey now. Let's grab that back. In fact, before we forget, let's do this section. J Smash, worth leaving your spores over. Spores. Green. That would be the only green on the model apart from the green on his wings. I think that would be completely off, especially against the red of his armour. But I appreciate the shout. Oh, I said she would leave me for your mashed potato. Oh, hang on, that's not better. It's better for me. Hang on, no it's not. You pay all the bills. It's not better for me. Same as before, but slightly more refined, a little bit reduced. Meme Dark War 12, thank you for that follow, man. Welcome to the stream. So hit the outside edge, then just get that top line. Hopefully slightly neater than that. So, the corner. And you see we're just starting to build up that nice, easy gradient, yeah? Just about making sure you're being precise with your airbrush, keeping the flow of paint to an absolute minimum. Helps give you any wiggle room you might need just in case of a loss of control. Love Warhammer? Awesome. Comradson, how you doing, fella? Always good to see you, man. Just get these corners. Boom. And then the top of our little plinth. We're working from a distance now to help keep this nice and diffuse. Which is going to help give us a softer transition as well. Now, at the moment, all we're doing is we're painting smooth grey. We're going to get way past that soon and start building this up with some extra bits of detail. So we're going to start weathering this. We've got a load of dirt to put down. That's even before we get to the point where we're using powders as well. Finishing the weekend doing some orcs. Nice, mate. Oh wait, no. Ming Dark War, I play Space Wolves and Orcs. Okay, nice, man. There's a lot of Space Wolves players been popping up recently, so you got plenty of good company here, I think. Right, so again, same as before. Hit these edges. So what I'm going to do is only go around each one once. And then we're going to hit the corners. To help emphasize those a touch. So look at the ones that we've done up there, the ones that we haven't. You see it's quite a large difference already. What we're then going to do is come back in and just hit each corner one more time. Yeah, and they can see a big difference between these and these. Now if we'd done that and just hit the corners on this, it wouldn't look right. It would absolutely look wrong. And that's where a lot of painting studios that are very airbrush centric will go wrong, is they'll go straight into like the final highlight. They won't give you any introduction of a highlight. Unfortunately, that leads to your mini just having a slight disconnect. There's some very famous painting studios that do that, and whilst they look cool on initial glance, as soon as you actually start looking at it, it does tend to be a little bit like, you've missed a few bits and I'm not sure about X, Y, Z. As before, you can see my thumb's basically locked into one position, and then we just move around, making sure we hit those highlights. So look at the difference between those now and the steps, which had that grey as our highlight a second ago. See a huge difference there. Captain of the Belgian team. Oh, sweet, dude. I met some of the Belgian ETC guys in Prague. For Prague GT, I think. Don't know if that was your old man at all, but the World Team Championships English team are just going through selection at the moment. Buddy Mark Cromblehome, one of the top 16, managed to get through onto the sort of heavy selection. He's occasionally in the chat. He might be doing some streaming of his own at some point soon. Streaming TTS for 40k. So we'll try and raid him if we ever get the opportunity. I can't really stand Tabletop Simulator 40k. It's just not the same. The current restrictions, that's what he needs to be doing, is keeping his practice up on that. He lives somewhere that is a high risk area. Cheers, dude. Was that the one at the hotel ranked? Yeah, it was. Yeah. The top hotel Praha. Now, to be fair, I had no issues with the hotel. Breakfast was pretty banging. The room was okay. It was a 3-bed room that myself, Mikey, and Elliot shared. And so I saw some things, mostly Mikey's things, that I did not need to see at any point ever in my life. I have seen more of that man than I feel comfortable sharing. It's not good. Oh mate, the reviews were horrendous. The reviews were like, we had stuff stolen from our room. I was reading the review the day before, no, it wasn't the day before, it was the night before the day before we were going to go. And, oh mate, the reviews were horrendous. Like, got left waiting at reception for 45 minutes, the queue was 2 hours for breakfast, and I'm reading these reviews thinking, we're staying here, and I'm fine with all of the bits that are like inconvenient, but had stuff stolen from my room is very, very concerning. So I messaged Mikey and said, look, this is where we're staying, man. I'm a little bit worried because we're carrying a lot of kit with us. Like, if he lost all of the kit, he'd get it back on travel insurance, but let's say that took 2 months to get sorted out. That's 2 months of him not producing battle reports, right? But the guy in charge of the event, who is, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's one of the guys behind Game Map, basically said, look, don't worry about it. The place is fine. You know, we stay there a lot. It's okay. You got nothing to worry about. I'm like, not sure. And so Mikey said, okay, look, here's what we're going to do. If we get there and the place is a shithole and we think that we're going to get our stuff nicked, then I'll bring it up and then they can pay for a hotel somewhere else. It's that simple. We won't necessarily hold them to ransom, but, you know, we'll make sure that everyone is safe and looked after, because I'm not interested in everything going horribly wrong just to film this event. So, alright, cool. Well, you're the guy in charge, Mikey. Whatever you need to do to make sure that we're okay, go for it. We'll support you every step of the way. But we're more worried about like you losing your kit and not being able to do your job, essentially. So when we got there, we explained again our situation. We're told no, honestly it's fine. You guys have got like the top rooms, and it seems that if you do stay at that hotel, the thing to do is to pay for the executive suites, because whilst it was a room that was clearly built in like the 60s or 70s, where they were all sort of done to cost and very much in that era of we build things out of concrete, it lasts. The rooms weren't bad. There was no real issues with the rooms. Everything was clean, which is one of the things we were worried about. Like, dirty bedding is... Like, we've all been to a hotel and done... I'm not going to say horrible things, but, you know... Not at home, don't have to clean up the mess so much, so, you know, you and your missus maybe get a bit wild. But I didn't need any issues, shall we say, when it came to having untidy or unclean bedding, but there was none of that. And the breakfast was decent. It was a good little continental. Some of it was a bit weird, not gonna lie. Some of the breakfast items were a bit like, not eating that again. But honestly, it was okay. So if you're ever going to the Game Mat EU Prague GT, and it's a decent enough event, then strongly recommend paying for the upgraded room. Also, do not speak to anyone on reception and expect an answer that you want. Because we went down to reception after setting up the fucking table, after travelling all day. I mean, Mikey and I sat out from his at like 11 in the morning. By the time we finished setting up the table, it was 11 p.m. their time. Went to the front desk and said, "Hey man, is there anywhere we can get something to eat around here?" So, "No, restaurant is closed." Okay, cool, but is there anywhere like else around here that we can eat? No. There's no restaurants, there's no pub, there's no bar, there's no restaurant is closed. So while Mikey's having that conversation with, let's just call him Chet. His name clearly isn't Chet, so let's just call him Chet. I've got my phone out and I'm like, right, let's fucking have a look. Food near me, press the button, and all these red dots come up. I'm like, right, cool, we've got plenty of places to eat. Mikey, let's just go. Found a KFC, sorted. The following day, did some casting, had fun, came to dinner time, we're like, right, cool. No, hang on, I've missed a step. We got back to the hotel. It is about, do you mean Bruges? This was Top Hotel Praha that we were at. I don't know the area necessarily, but this was in Prague. No, in Prague, mate. Not in Brussels. But I think I got into this conversation with saying I think I met some of the Belgium ETC members at that event that were competing in it. Because they had a team event there as well as the 40k singles. The 40k singles is what we were doing the commentary for. Anyway, get back to the hotel. It's gone midnight. It's about 12:30 at night. And Mikey speaks to the guy on reception and goes, right, just a quick one. Do the rooms have irons or like a trouser press on? Basically, I need to iron my shirt. And the guy stood there looking at him. And Mikey went, iron? I need an iron for my shirt. And the guy, oh, you mean iron? And Elliot and I die. Absolutely die at this point. I think you'll find that he said it correctly. He might be from Yorkshire, but he knows normal words like iron. And you're like, yeah, you know, an iron. Like, yeah, we have one iron. Right. For the whole hotel. Yes, we have one. Right. Well, can I borrow it? Right. How long will you be with the iron? Right. Well, I'm gonna iron my shirt in the morning. So until the morning. Right. Let me check. You must come down in the morning. I'm not gonna do the accent anymore because I'm feeling really bad about it. You must come in the morning to collect iron. Like, well, can I just have it now? Say me, like coming down here first thing in the morning, getting the iron, going back to my room, ironing my shirt, having breakfast. You're like, problem is, if somebody else needs the iron, like, at what, like at 5 a.m. Mikey then had to pay a €20 deposit. €20 deposit to borrow the hotel's one singular iron. This is a hotel that has like 500 rooms. One iron in all hotel. The fuck? For €20, you could buy an iron. I just they've had English nick the one iron before. I'd be, mate, I'm not surprised. They probably looked at him and went, "Oh, this guy looks a bit rough." I've heard the English are a bit out there at times. Don't let him have the iron. Come on, Chaz or Chet, whatever your name is. Don't let him have it. But if the thing was, right? The thing was, the following weekend, Mikey did the commentary for Northeast Open, and I had a ticket to it, and I ended up cancelling my ticket when Mikey asked me to go to Prague with him to do the GT, because I thought that's my 7th event in a row, and I've got painting I need to do, so we're going to really have to knuckle down and get on with that, so I can't go to this tournament. I spoke to Ricky, who's the guy that runs it, who's an absolute legend, proper nice lad. He said, look, sorry mate, I can't do it, here's why. He's like, that's no problem. He gave me a refund for my ticket, straight away. Top boy. Top boy. So, the following weekend, Mikey's there doing a commentary. He's asked me to come, and I had to turn him down, which I felt shit about, because he got let down by somebody else, but he understood my position and my situation. And then when I found out he got let down by somebody else, I offered to do it, but he'd already found somebody else. And that's why it was he and Tom. And he was at the hotel there, and he went down to the to the front desk. And he said, "Oh, I couldn't find an iron in the room. Do you have one?" The guy's just like, Is there an iron in the room? Oh, you mean iron? And like, what the fuck? Have I been saying this wrong my entire life, or am I being trolled? So poor Mikey might have been trolled about the iron, or it might actually be iron, and we might all be wrong. Those are the options right now. So you can see on the pillars, we're just getting a quick edge highlight on these octagonal sections. And the reason we're doing this is just so that we can do a brushed highlight on exactly the same section and have it just a little bit sort of blended in. So when we start coming back in with a lighter grey by hand, that'll be a nice gradiated highlight that culminates that nice sharp edge height. We've then just put, as you can see, a quick band of that light grey on there, giving us our transitions. Apparently they're always right, Toonie Spruce. Wow, let's not hate on the French too much, alright? I love the French. Every time I go to France, which is where my folks live, the people where they are always super, super nice. But even the regular French people that live in rural France hate Parisians. I can't stand Paris. Really, really not a fan. It's made by Apple's Iron, otherwise I guess Iron, yeah. There was a law in France for the longest time. You had to have your department number, which is kind of like your postcode to anyone that's English. Had to have that on your car, and that basically tells everyone where you're from. And they stopped it being legal to have to do it. Sorry, stopped it being illegal to not do it, I guess. Because a load of Parisians complained because every time they went somewhere, they'd get their cars keyed or spat on or something by the regular French people that lived in that area. Strata! Let's get some exclamation point strata and exclamation point tokens in the chat in honor. How you doing, man? But yeah, they stopped you having to do it because of that. And so now the only people that don't do it and don't have it on there are from Paris. And so people just still carry on gobbing on other people's cars. So if you're not from Paris, you put your fucking department number on the car to stop it from happening. Oh. There we go. Right, just get a quick highlight towards the top end of this column. And then we are done with the lighter greys. The next thing I'm going to do is going to grab a little bit of black. I'm going to just hit some of the recesses on all of these steps. This bit up here looking okay, but we do want to get into some of the recesses. We'll do that with ink later. Just to darken down a couple of these perhaps, but certainly these stairs, want to really, really darken those down. So we're going to flush almost all of this out and go back in with a super, super, super dark grey. French bread is absolutely outstanding, man. Like that, I'm gluten intolerant, and that stuff is worth having a bit of an upset stomach for a day or two. So like most of us from outside London, yeah, yeah. The best bread I've ever had in France is from my mum and dad's local bakery called Boulanger, and they call it a marguerite, and it is 6 bread rolls, but it's like 1 bread roll and then 5 bread rolls around it like a flower, and it's so soft and so like fluffy, but the outside is just got this nice crisp almost biscuit like texture to it. It's oh, something else. Just reached 1,500 points of Death Guard paint. It's a pretty chuffed in sight until you buy more. Mate, they're going to get a new set of releases soon as well. So there's definitely going to be Death Guard on the horizon. They've got the new dude that buffs the tanks. Des, there you go. There you go. Now you've learned something. It's a daisy. Yeah. What else are you going to get? You're going to get some scenery. We know that one. We've seen that before. The little oven that Hansel and Gretel go in, obviously. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Right, let's do these steps. So we're just going to aim in the large flat area of the step. Now we're going on really thin, so when we top this up with black, we use 2:1 flow improver of paint just to get this super fine. Work from a distance, get right up close for where you need to for that bit of precision, then back it off so you've got a nice diffusion, and we're looking for that very dark panel. So look at this one as it is now. You can see we've got a nice light line in there from where we've got the overspray from everything else here. I'm just going to go in quick and wipe out that overspray. It's a nice dark line between this step and the previous one. A little bit more in the center there. And then we'll back that off a little, come out just a touch, and then darken down the rest of that step. Massive difference for very little work. Look at the between this one and this one now. Much tidier. Easy peasy, right? Lord of Rust and the Summoning Furnace. Yeah. Also, Basil Stamps. How you doing? What else do you guys reckon they're going to get? Because obviously, whatever's in their codex is coming out. You'd imagine that some of the Psychic Awakening stuff that they got still in there. So some of the relics, perhaps, maybe the Vectorums, the Plague Companies, could be exactly the same for some of those. What about strats? Morty's a difficult one because he's really strong. So he inevitably gets shot off the table first turn because he is super strong. Just putting a little of this on that pillar. Shade up that middle section a little, give us even more contrast on that. So yeah, Morty is super good already. He just needs a bit of hide him. Like if they, the biggest buff, and I genuinely mean this, the biggest buff they could give Morty is giving him 17 wounds, not 18. That's the biggest buff they could give Morty right now, because then he benefits from obscuring terrain. So that would be massive. Be like back in the old days where everyone wanted their characters to get 9 wounds to be super survivable but untargetable. Strata, you're absolutely right. You do have to build the entire list around Morty, but when he's a quarter of your points anyway, I feel that's kind of all right. He's already quite a lot of it. Put him in reserve. Yeah, you can do, but it's not really going to do much for him. He can't deep strike. There was a period of time where he could, using the demon stratagem, but obviously GW were very quick to say no, you can't use demon strats on stuff in the Chaos book or Death Guard book and so on, because that makes things super powerful. Because a deep striking Magnus and a deep striking Morty was just absolutely insanity. Might give Morty the same rules as Nightbringer, so you use certain wounds per phase. Yeah, I can totally see that. He should be super survivable. I think that's a mechanic we're going to see brought out a lot. There's going to be a lot of armies with that kind of thing in. For instance, I can see Hive Tyrants getting that. Just as rote. Certainly the Swarm Lord getting that. Because currently Tyranids die without their big things, but their big things die too easily. And so, you know, that's going to be one of the ways that gets fixed, I'd imagine. But yeah, all of the Catan style changes. I reckon could go on Morty as well. But I think, honestly, just making sure he can hide is the best thing you could do for him right now. So again, on these stairs, we're just getting into that tight recess. Darken down a lot of that. Making sure we've got a nice contrast. Like so that's all the grey elements on the base. You see we've got masses of contrast in there at the moment. Some might argue too much, but that's fine because of what's coming next. Let's flush this through, give us a quick whip round because we're going to start working in some browns now. I've got some Battlefield Brown from P3. Anske, I think. Thanks for the follow. Welcome. He could outflank. He could. But it's just... he's off the table for 2 turns. Fish, he is too visible, which is why I'm suggesting reduce his wounds by 1 is the biggest buff. So... yeah, stuff 9 to 12 wounds, it definitely does. If he stays on 18 wounds and has that, but maybe they say you can do 5 wounds of face, not 3. Because Gaz is 4, right? The Catan have 9 wounds, and they say you can do 3. So the formula for both is the same, right? Now, admittedly, I'm aware the Catan get a wound back every turn. Gaz gets a little Feel No Pain-esque thing, plus there's pain boys you can put in the army to heal him. Oh wait, they might be infantry, right? And he's a monster, so you might not be able to do it with that. But the formula is like 3 turns of like kicking him in. So maybe they say 6. There you go. Des is already on the on that train. So yeah, let him be obscured. I think that would be the biggest one. And then also allow him to take a decent number of wounds per phase, or, hot take, just give him built-in damage reduction. So not damage reduction in a way of like, oh, I only take this many wounds a phase, but damage reduction of I reduce all damage by 1 to a minimum of 1. Alright, let's get this brown down. So the brown, by the time we've worked this up a little bit, is going to help keep the base looking quite rich and not so cold. It's also a fantastic colour for any dirt, as I'm sure you guys can work out. Hordicant! Thank you for the follow, man. Welcome. You can't, unless they're part of a real battle-forged army. So maybe like Marines could take a fortification that happens to be a spaceful fortification, but then that costs you loads of command points. But if it's the same faction as your actual army, I think it costs you 0. Mostly I feel because GW are clearly looking at making fortifications a thing for almost every faction right now, and they want to sell toys. Right, let's just get all of this nice and brown. And we'll whip out the hairdryer, give it a good dry off. Just a good brown. And if anyone ever wants Damien's thumbprint, I've got one right here. Okay, so selling the unlocking mechanism to Petta's iPhone for $5. Any takers at $5? No? Nobody? Nobody yet? Okay, cool. I'll keep it. It's fine. I looked at about -1 to wound, but Fish, I think what you've seen is not -1 to wound, but -1 damage. I've seen that floated a lot. And it's solid. It's extremely strong. Because, especially seeing as how Plague Marine will be 2 wounds base. Yeah, there's a lot of damage to weapons that are going to be really, really fucked off by that, clearly. Those new heavy bolters, that Marines are like, yeah, it's going to be great. Currently, okay, keep me in mind, man. Let me know. I got the hookup. If it's for murder, maybe £5 grand, not £5. So now we've got most of that covered. We'll give it a quick dry off. Grab the hairdryer. And then we can start getting in a little closer to the other sections. Now we're going to end up with a load of overspray, and that's exactly what we want. So we want this to look a little bit like it's dust that's just sort of accumulated on the terrain over the eons and so on, blah de blah, story time. Right, put that down, grab this. Chopping board, best thing ever, right? Civilian waffles. These are occasionally good and occasionally shit. How about you, dude? £5 for actions online banking. Nice. Cool. Right, that's most of that done, and that. We will rub some of that paint off with the glove because the surface we've got here is very rough. We've already taken a few bits of particulate off just by handling it. That's going to carry on. It's just one of those, but we'll get through it. Brian, don't know who you're referencing, I'm afraid. Oh, wait. No, I do. Me. I didn't have quite so much of a beard when Borderlands 2 came out, but I definitely still had the moe. That took a sec. Took the hairdryer out to Airbrush, kept my hands toasty AF. Mate, when I get cold in the studio, I tend to do a little bit of press-ups. You know, just like 10, 15, just enough to get the blood pumping. You know, that's enough. But my body temperature is basically controlled by my feet at all times. If my feet are cold, I'm cold. If my feet are hot, I'm hot. That's just the way it is. So if I ever get like properly cold and I can't warm myself back up, take the hairdryer and I spray it inside my trainers for about 20 seconds each one, put my feet in there. Oh, super good. Super good. So now we're just getting a little closer to all those tiles, all those bits of grey, just to be sure that we've got a nice coat of brown everywhere. And like I said, we're going to get some overspray. You can see a little bit on here, just a touch. That's totally fine. We're actually going to purposefully overspray a little bit on the base of these pillars, because that's where dust would collect. It makes perfect sense that there is dust there. Little bits of dirt getting piled up. All the sense in the world. And if you've got maybe, I don't know, a tank or a dreadnought or something like that, some sort of vehicle that's been stamping around This is one of the things that you can do on it, just at the last moment, just a little extra bit of detail. You can just do a little spray like that and just lightly attach some dirt to its bottom. To the bottom part of it, where it's tracks, repulsor, flying things. Imagine what he does when he gets in a hot bath. Oh, my nuts! Oh, so hot. Basically that. Yeah. But just do this sort of thing on your tanks and dreads or whatever else. ATVs, they've got no base. They'd be a great candidate for a little bit of weathering this way. Just to give it the effect of there having been something in the environment been imparted onto it. And obviously stuff like this is way quicker with an airbrush than with a paintbrush. Can you imagine trying to paint all this with like 2 thin coats? Just no. If you haven't got access to an airbrush, spray cans probably be your best bet. Just, you know, maybe down to Halfords or pick up some what's the company? Begins with an M. No, can't remember. Cannot remember. But yeah, there's a load of good spray paint and things you could use. Fucking Marco uses them. Molotov? Montana. That's it. That's the ones I was trying to remember. Gonna pick up a load of those for doing all the scenery we've got. Oh! Super awesome news. We've got Death Ray Design scenery finally here. Lord Endus, maybe? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. I haven't played Borderlands 3 at all. I loved 2. I played 2 a lot. I played the first one a little bit. Because I got into Borderlands just before 2 was coming out, and I picked up 1, really enjoyed it, and then 2 came out, so I just jumped ship basically straight away. I played a little bit of the pre-sequel. I thought that was fun. But I just find that Borderlands is exactly the same game, just repeated. But it's a fun game, so I don't really mind, if that makes sense. You know, I did see the Mario Kart paint job. About a week before that hit the internet and was then in every single chat / group, whatever you might have been in, I had somebody ask me if I would do a commission for 6 ATVs painted in the styles of Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Peach, and Yoshi. No, Bowser. Was that Yoshi or Bowser? I can't remember which one. But yeah, they asked me to do that, and I couldn't. I didn't have time. I even gave them another artist that they could go to get that done, because I thought it would be so cool. So again, on this pillar, a little bit of that brown, just dusting in there. Damn, Des, you get fully on that Borderlands train. I like the sort of animation style. I'm not super sold on the like the what do you call it, the cell shading in the game. It's cool. I don't love it as much as some people I know. But for me, the thing that makes the game is when you meet a boss or a person for the first time and you get that epic fucking intro for them. Like, that's cool. That's cool. Camel Triber, so Marco from not just Mecha swears by using stuff like that on like larger builds like scenery and so on. And certainly for something like this, they'd be fine. Are you going to get the same detail out of that you get with an airbrush? I'm going to say debatable. Now, your skill levels may vary, and therefore you might be able to. If you're a god with a fucking spray can, then there's every chance that you could. And I know there's different pressures, and I know there is different caps and so on to get different effects. And I'm going to pick up some of the Montana Marble Effect spray paint, which basically comes out a little bit like Silly String. And I've got a way I think I've worked out to be able to do a cool but quick Marble Effect Red Tomb World using that stuff. So yeah, I'm super psyched for that. It's going to be really, really cool. So we've got some Death Ray Designs big scenery. We've got some Alliance Armory scenery as well. So we've got an entire table's worth of Necron terrain to do for the Kyberdyne Dynasty. And I'm super jazzed for it. I might even go the whole hog and buy a Necron style battle mat if I can find one in black and red. And that'll be the key. So either a 44 by 60 or a 60. Sorry, well, 6 foot by 4 foot, one or the other. Because we've got that really sexy table overlay that I designed and had printed up, which I need to put a link in the chat for, actually. But my buddy's got an Etsy shop where he sells that. All right, so there's the majority of our brown down. You can see already, now that that's down, we've got something that's got kind of a rich feel to it. You know, it's a bit muddy, as you can tell, but we're going to have to jazz that up, and we've got some greens to go on. Then we've got some greens to spray onto some of these elements as well, just to get a little bit of green weathering, so if there's like a moss or algae or something growing on there. Brian, if you want feedback on something you've painted, wait to the whip out at the end of the stream. So exclamation point Discord, come and join the Discord, and then add your pictures to the Discord. We can give you some feedback at the end then. Ideally 3 or less. Yes, absolutely. Counter, I totally agree with that. I would still definitely use an airbrush for any miniature, but certainly for priming, I know a lot of people still spray prime. I would rather use the airbrush. I get better control out of it. One sec, just need a lighter brown. Let's grab whatever this is, halfway along. Steel Legion drab. Yeah, that'll do. Got a load of it as well. But certainly for scenery, especially for MDF where it's mostly flat, I think it's fine. A lot of the Alliance Armory stuff that I've done was a fuckload of me spraying it grey Halford's primer. Whoops, that's locked. And then followed up with just getting some details down with the airbrush, like hazard stripes and all the other stuff that I do. Okay, so we've missed our 10 o'clock sort of deadline for this, but before we start adding in the next highlight colour, let's have a quick break. So, a couple of you will have noticed the commands of win and mystery down here. Exclamation point win will tell you how you could win a £50 hobby voucher just for watching the stream. No subscription necessary, just be here, earn your channel currency, that's your meeps, and then you could win a £50 hobby voucher to a hobby stockist of your choice. It could be anywhere in the world, as long as I can pay by PayPal, basically. We're all good. Exclamation point mystery will tell you how you could win a miniature painted by me in a colour scheme of your choice. What's the Discord? Exclamation point Discord. In fact, it's linked above. Currently, in the prize pool, we have Sergeant Ripper Jackson. What an epic epic mini this is. I'm a humongous fan of it. I really, really like it. It's brand new, so let's get a little bit of hype for the new shit, obviously. But look at the detail they've gone into on this. Nice little litanies on the chainsaw and stuff that they've put in there. All this funky stuff on the base. The little Venus flytrap style thing going on. This is super, super cool. I'm a huge fan. Can't wait to paint that. We've also already got something in the mystery box. We'll get to that in a second, but there's something cool in there. The other miniature that's up for grabs that you guys could choose. I was looking right at it and I couldn't see it. That's how my weekend's gone, basically. Is this the Lord Inquisitor Kyra Draxus? So currently we've got 2 Imperial models, but they're both very cool minis, let's be honest here. Danny, I know that this Inquisitor holds a special place in your heart, but that one will go in any army. Obviously we've got a guard army here, 2 very cool minis. You could win either one of these, or if that doesn't float your boat, you could choose instead to have the contents of the mystery box. In here is a miniature. Previous ones have been Eldar Wraith Lords, Noah Champions, a Grot. What else have we had in here? God, I'm trying to remember. We have some Chaos stuff. Baneblade won't actually fit in the box, unfortunately. But in here, there is a thing. It's kind of weighty, as you can tell. But there's a very cool miniature in here. So you got choice of 3. Either Ripper Jackson, Kyra Draxus, or the mystery box to be in with a chance to win. Exclamation point mystery. Get a little bit more detail. You need to be a subscriber, and you need to be here on the last stream of the month, which is Thursday the 29th of October. Tune in on that night. You could win a £50 hobby voucher or one of those miniatures painted by me in a colour scheme of your choice. Put that date in your diaries. 9 o'clock UK time kickoff. Giveaway streams up. Always fun streams. I did say the Necronathon 2 was likely to be the first weekend of November. Because of the deal I've been offered for my redundancy at work, it's likely instead to be Saturday the 21st and Sunday the 22nd, going all the way into Monday morning of the 23rd. Currently, I'll show you the list. This is maybe not all of this stuff, all right? But currently on the list of things to paint in that weekend is a Command/Annihilation badge, Catan Shard of the Nightbringer, 20 Immortals, 2 Doomsires, so I've got one here, an Overlord, the Silent King, 1 6-shooter man, probably not the terrain piece, we'll save that for doing a terrain weekend, a Void Dragon, and 6 Ophidian Destroyers, and 3 Locust Heavy Destroyers, and 3 Canoptek Doomstalkers, and 20 Warriors, and this is gonna suck so bad, a couple of the Necron characters. So let's see, that's 20 for the 26 for what I've got already. 27 for the plane. 28, 29, 49, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. We're not counting that. 3 for 6. So that's about 60 minis. So about half what we did before, but big boy. Very big boy. Big boy. Big boy. Crazy. So there, oh god. Oh, there is so much to paint. So much to paint. But we're looking at that one for the weekend of the 21st/22nd of November. We're keeping Necronvember going strong, basically. Do characters first before you crash? Yes, especially when the Silent King and the Void Dragon are there as well, right? So there's some definite stress with that. We might slim down this list a little bit. The Command Catacomb Barge, because I need to magnetize that. That might not be part of it. Got Cesaras up here as well, so he's got to be painted too. It's gonna be tough, but it's Watchvember. What the fuck is Watchvember? Necronvember. October, Necronvember. Right, so we've got a little bit of a brighter coloured brown now. We just mixed in some Graveyard Earth. You don't call it that anymore. Steel Legion Drab. I can never remember these names. And all we're doing is we're just hitting some of the edges to pop that out a little bit. We're kind of doing this as a bit of a zenithal, so the stuff underneath will definitely stay darker. We'll also get ourselves a little bit of a shadow in a few places as well, which is always just going to help make everything look a little bit cooler. No love for September, it was September. So Twitch always runs a thing in September for September. So Necronvember. Necrovember sounds like a bad holiday no matter how you slice it. I mean, if Necrons are involved, that holiday went to shit. Let's be honest. So, you know, don't know what you're after there, mate. But definitely it's just a bad time for all involved. Especially me when I paint for 40 hours in the space of 48 hours. However, it's fucking hilarious, let's be honest. We had a great time. You guys definitely had a great time. I died a little inside that weekend. So fuck it, let's do it again. There's going to be a lot of pre-assembly needs to be done. And get all of our undercoats down as well. So there's a lot to do prior to the stream. And then the stream itself is going to be fucking carnage. So the last one, exclamation point YouTube, go and find the video. We should do a command for that, just to get straight to the Necronathon. But yeah, streamed for 40.5 hours over 2 days. Got a 2,000 point Necron army finished off. It was rough. It was very rough. But we got everything done. Everything got the paints. And I've got a fully painted Necron army. Aziri, that's a cool trip. But my Necron scheme is nothing like that. My Necron scheme looks exactly like the Terminator. So it's a like dark silver, really dark silver, and we go about it a slightly different way to normal by glazing black over metallics to darken down certain areas of it and give them a nice sinister look. Red eyes with a glowing effect done by hand, not by airbrush. Red weapons with a little bit of a glow and sort of red power weapon style effects. It's a very cool looking army. I'm a big fan of it. Have I played them yet? I've played one game with them against somebody. It was Jim Martin, who's not in the chat at the moment. I guess he's at work this evening. And it was a tough game. A really, really tough game. Civilian Waffles. That I've never ever thought of that. My God, I think I love you a little bit based on that. Damn. Mr. Chillmore. So it depends entirely on the model and what's going on. So all those Necron models I was just talking about will be fully built, with the exception of things like the Silent King and the Void Dragon, which might be in a few different parts before I start painting them. But then things like the Warriors and the Immortals will be in one part, because they've got less detail on, they're easy to get the areas I need to anyway. So it's very much dependent upon what it is that you're painting and what it is you're going for. So Magnus, for instance, is massive. And so with Magnus, we put together all the parts that made up his body, but we left the wings unattached. So this one will still pop off, for instance. Then put it back on just to keep it safe and stop me from knocking him over. So you kind of got to work it out on a model by model basis. It's tricky. Basically look at the miniature and evaluate, like honestly evaluate what you need to do to it to get it from its unpainted state to its painted state to make you have the easiest time of painting. Right, just going to tidy up a few of these areas where we've got some of this mud and dirt, and as you can see we've got loads of overspray on the steps, so we're getting that kind of dusty feel to everything that's going on already. Then what we're going to do is just gently filter all this. So I've barely touched that with paint. Barely touched it with paint. There's just a little on there. You can see there's a slight change in colour. Just going to go two more passes each step. And again, you can see it's still very subtle, but it's there. That's just helped to bring those into the frame a little bit more. We've got a nice little area here that would easily collect dust, and all we're doing right now is applying, you'd call it a filter in the art world, basically a really, really thin coat of paint. You can do it quite often with things like washes for oil washes and so on. Enamels you can use for filtering. In fact, you don't even need to use oils as a wash, you can just do oil dot filtering. And it's just a case of just gently introducing a colour to help things blend in a little bit more. That's all. Just working out whether I want to go brighter with this, and I don't think I do. I think what I want to do now is start darkening that down with a bit of a wash. So I'm going to flush this out. Then to get a brown wash, I'm going to run that through to get into all the crevices. So when we then come to getting our powders down on the brown, everything there is good to go. Then you get some green in the airbrush. Start doing some undergrowth, little bits of vegetation. And that's going to just be the foundation for our weathering powders. I've got some beautiful green weathering powders going to be on the way. They make a big difference to the overall tone of this base. Between that and our grass tufts that we're putting in there, it's going to be great. You don't need to, like, so any of the mods, like, honestly, I say this every time, you guys, it's great that we've got you, and I thank you for the work that you do, but you do not need to try and keep up with my stream schedule, especially on the dumb shit weekends we do like that. So, don't worry too much. Right, let's grab some strong tone. You can't stop me. I mean, I can't. You're absolutely right, and I'm not going to try to very hard either. But I've done my piece. Glad you're liking the base, dude. So we've got about 2-to-1 flow improver to strong tone from Army Painter. But we live for the dumb shit. I mean, I think I live in spite of the dumb shit. So this then is going to go on all over the brown stuff. Try and grip this just by the base. I'm going to work on that finger grip strength rather. And then it's just a case of spraying this all over that brown. We're going to soak it using the airbrush basically. This is still quicker by far than fucking around with a regular brush. So you can wash with an airbrush. See, we're getting that kind of wet mud effect going on a little bit. This will obviously naturally pool up. Gravity is going to help it out as well. Need to just turn that in my hand a little. Okay, that's why these pillars are there. Clearly, they're a very handy way of gripping the base to help maneuver it for painting purposes. Not too worried about getting in here. We're going to do a similar thing but with dark tone in a lot of that. Oh god, that actually hurts to hold like that. Looking for plenty of modulation in our tones here. So going full bore, all the paint, all the air, fired a lot out. Just grab, there's nothing on my thumb, right. Right in here on these steps again. All of these darker areas as well. I want to make sure we get that plinth, which I forgot about in our last coat, but that's not the end of the world. Put that down out of the way. Let's get all of the top of that. Plenty of this towards the base as well. Hit some of these darker areas too. And again, it's just going to help bed it into our scenery a little bit more. What's left in there? No, it just ran out. Grab that dark tone. I'm going to do the same thing now, but to the very underside of this. Brush for hire. Sorry, I did see you come in and say hello, and I forgot to say hello back, so it was actually somebody else's question. This is Commission Maggie, so he is here living his best life at the moment. Still work in progress, as you can see. This is a big old base. We got the base commissioned by a guy called Damien Pedley, who is a Golden Demon winner and general all-around awesome dude. If you want a model giveaway, can I send you my Inquisitor? No, you can paint that yourself. That was the point of those painting lessons. That one's on you, bud. Also, go give Brush for Hire a follow on Instagram as well. This guy's a good dude. Right, so here's our dark tone. So it's basically a black wash. For those of you that only use GW paints, stop it. Fucking hell, this weighs a lot. I forgot to weigh it. But it weighs enough to make Rocky really regret asking for this to be done. The postage is going to really hurt. Oh. It's got to be nearly a kilo by itself. That down. Grab the trusty hairdryer. And then we're going to get the green out. Or various greens, I should say. Can anyone else see? That's weird. Tony Spruce, you absolute lad. You absolute lad. The weird light, yeah. Stop doing it, man. No, there it is. Only at certain angles. I don't know what that is. I guess it must be like the air coming out and the camera's somehow picking up, but we can't. But how fucking weird and sick was that? So here we go. We've got a very muted set of browns now. Obviously some of it's still wet. I'm not overly fussed. I'm going to try not to grab the whole thing by that anyway. Got our greys. Looking pretty good. Looks a lot like a Forgotten Temple. But what we really want to do now is start adding in a bit of colour to this. We've got some roots which will stay brown, but the fact there are roots there means that this place must have supported some plant life. Which means, let's get some plant life down. Now, I'm going to use a lot of weathering pigments to help suggest tiny bits of like lichen, moss, all that kind of stuff anyway. But one paint that I like to use for stuff like this, I'm probably not going to be able to find. Is it this? Actually isn't, but that's a good one anyway. Is it this? It is this. It's cunningly called Bog Moss from P3. It's very similar to Death Guard Green, that same kind of slightly desaturated green, but there's a little bit more vibrancy to this. I prefer Death Guard painted with this for that kind of new GW traditional version than this one. Oh, too many sprues. Oh, I thought you'd got it as... Damn, man. Regular Brush for Hire UK, absolute bad lad. Other Brush for Hire, also good, don't get me wrong, but not the same. So we're going to go 2-to-1 for our paint to plant life blur song. I have no idea. Isn't that park life? See? He's a good dude. He's a good dude. Let's pimp him out. So this is the right one. Yeah, we did get the right one. So we've got some guard. Lovely good old red cross he's got going on there. That's pretty banging. Very cool. I like the fact that guy's got a great big bell he's going to smash the shit out of you with. This is sick. Yeah, big fan of the red, the blue and purple, mate. Very cool. See? Nice vibrant green instead of that really desaturated GW green. Much better. Strata getting his sub. Oh wait, that's been gifted by Brush for Hire. Let me just give Strata Miniatures his currency. You know, guys, that's the behind the scenes look on what happens whenever somebody gives us up. I do that. That's it. So, Celestine, there you go. Look at those wings. Look at those wings. Very pretty. See? See? Look at that. That big red heart. I'm all over this shit. Great work there, man. Absolutely banging. I didn't like that one. Damn it. Lamatis is a great model, but fucking hell, he's such a bastard to paint. Absolute bastard. Fine cast, no good. Don't like. Right. Here is our green paint. I'm going to use this as thin as it is to suggest some life on this. Little bits of plant life. So just going to take our time and build up a few patches of this in places that look like there could be a little bit of plant life. These little rockeries and so on. And again, it just helps break up what we've got. Don't do too much. Just a few little bits here and there, and this is going to really help when we start laying down our weathering powders. We're going to use those to create that sort of lichen and moss style effect, like I said. But just a few spots of this and a quick highlight using the Death World Green or Death Guard Green or whatever it's called will really, really help bring this base to life a little bit. See? It's already changed such a lot by having that there. Public place doesn't need to be where moisture would be necessarily, but you need to think about areas where you might find a plant. So let's say this was like on a mountaintop somewhere rather than being in a temple. There'd be areas where like a seed has been picked up by the wind and blown. It will have just landed in here, right up nestled against the nook of this little pillar, where it's had a bit of a chance to get some shelter. It's then gathered some moisture and so on and so forth and started to grow. And that's the thing to think about. So I'm looking at places like here against the steps behind this rock. The other side of that. A few bits here on the cliff face, essentially. All of those sorts of things. Here, I'm imagining this is like a wall, or maybe these pillars came up as an entrance to a long hall or similar, so therefore we can get a bit more going on here. But look at how much of a difference that makes. If we look at it from there, and then look at it from here. Yeah, this looks very flat. This does not. And it's such a quick thing, as you can see. So down here, we've got a perfect candidate. Somewhere nice and secluded, little bit of shelter. Just green it up a bit. Yeah, a little bit of vibrancy. Danny, absolutely do. And you can see how short bursts of our airbrush just make all the difference. Everyone would normally do this by, I imagine, grabbing some static grass or some modeler's flock or something along those lines, that style of thing, and just gluing it to their base. And that's great. But most modeler's flock isn't the right scale at all for a 28mm miniature. Like, if you think that a mini that's maybe 2 inches tall at the absolute most is 8 foot tall, then that means that it's 4 foot to 1 inch, which means that something like a grain of sand would be thousandths of an inch, you know. So particles of paint work really well for lichen and stuff like that. Use P3 paints for your Death Guard. Mate, I don't blame you. I fucking love P3. They've got some amazing vibrancy. I think it's due to a slightly finer grind of pigment. But they just jump out. They hold up to so much more. So there, got a nice little bit of shelter from the top down. That would definitely be somewhere you can get some life. In and around here, let's just go for it, shall we? So there will be tufts on here. There will be weathering pigments on here to help sell this effect as well. But again, such a massive difference for a tiny, tiny bit of work. Let's get a few bits in here on these steps where all of this sort of particulate has fallen. Just got to clean the tip a little bit. Strata, you're now a sub. You can enter into that miniature contest. Maybe win a mini. Which would be a great payback for what you've done for the community. Exclamation point Strata. Exclamation point tokens. You guys can get something from Strata Miniatures at a discount and help support the stream. We've already sold a couple of sets of tokens. They're super cool. That's something else that's being painted as part of the Necronathon, is some awesome Necron objective markers, measuring widgets, and so on. Because they look sick AF. Just a tip. It'll clean everything, but the tip is important, man. Yeah. If you've got to ask that question, I worry for your personal hygiene. Do not come to this stream just for personal hygiene tips. There's not many given out. So. And no, I'm not doing that kind of private tuition either. Fuck no. There are certain things in life I do not need to see, hear, know about. The particulars of your nether regions, Daniel. Definitely among those things. Cool. See? So much nicer already. But, let's be honest now. This stuff doesn't just grow on dirt, does it? You know. No need, man. No need. We're going to save up our affiliate winnings with your company. And then for the Necronathon, for the Part 2 Necronathon, we're going to try and pick up a couple of sets of tokens for giveaways. Get some more basing kits from Rival Crafts, obviously, because Sarah's a baller. Go from there. Alright, there we go. So now what we want to do is start introducing some of these bits of plant life and so on to our stonework. So we just pick a few smaller areas like this right here. A little crack in the rock there. That would definitely get a little bit. Video chatting Mike again, or is it the PTSD? PTSD. Took a second. Definitely PTSD. Why did you bring that back? So let's just dust the top of this pillar. A little bit of green. These are the sort of things that you're not going to notice so much when you first look at the miniature. In fact, you'll probably not notice them the fourth or fifth time you look at the miniature. But it is something that will eventually stand out to you, and you'll just go, oh my god, and that'll be a wonderful thing. So again, tiny little spots of green on the stairs. You can see there, you've got a couple of dots. You want to try and keep it random. And come in for a little bit more down here. See, it's just starting to build. There you go. There we go on here. And then let's just grab a few spots on the side of these pillars. Slight blockage, give me 1 second. It's not quite coming out at the speed it should. Having an Indomitus box, Silent King, Heavy Destroyer, and a big shooty walker. What should I get next when Echoes Real to 2K? I'm guessing Heavy Destroyer and shooty big walker isn't found on its own. No, it's not. Shooty boy and the big walker is 210 points. How do you stop blockages? Clean your tip. To start with. Usually it's about using paint that's the right consistency, but I know mine is. There you go, much more better behaved. So we're working from a distance to keep this very diffuse, with a nice, smooth sort of line to it. Don't want any like quick finish on the blend. It needs to be organic looking, yeah? We also don't want any specklings that must be super thin. And we're just going to find a few spots on the sides, especially where we've got like these big areas. Like look at this with this massive like divot, the big hole that we've got in there. You know, that could definitely support a little bit of life. So we'll pop some of that in. And we've got these here. So I use Flow Improver in place of thinner, or for everything. Flow Improver is life. Thinner is there to help thin paints that need a lot of thinning. So we're talking primers, varnishes, anything along those sorts of lines, right? Flow Improver for me is there for every other fucking thing. I use at least 1-to-1 Flow Improver to paint for everything that goes in the airbrush. Sometimes more. This is 2-to-1 Flow Improver to paint. I know what's causing it though is the fact that I'm being so gentle with the airbrush that I'm getting a little bit of dry tip going on. And that's why I said it's all about keeping the tip clean. So I just take a paintbrush, an old paintbrush, I just sort of wash it round the inside of the nozzle, around the needle, help clear off the build-up on the needle. Because it's almost always the build-up on the needle that causes this. I did get distracted. So what I was going to say was, based on what you've told me in your list, I would probably get a Cryptek and use it as a Technomancer. Now, the Technomancer isn't out yet, so all I'm doing for now is just using my converted Cryptek as like a stand-in for any of the special Crypteks that I want. And then he would be 70-ish points. I would probably get a Necron Lord rather than Overlord because he's cheap. Give him a Resorb, so that's 100 points. That's 170, leaving you with 330 points, which, to be honest, you don't have a lot of board presence, so maybe more warriors. Like, I'm going to run 60 warriors. You say just a normal brush. Just to be clear, this brush lives in my water cup. It is disgusting. This looks like any GW brush after about 10 minutes of use, mind you. But I use just that and just, you know, give it a quick clean. Right, let's get a little bit of lichen into some of this. A couple of little spots here and there. Now look at that. Just that addition of green has changed everything. Absolutely everything on this. Danny, I'm getting one, but I think currently they're a bit naff. Rules as written, and a lot of people are disagreeing with this, but I'm sorry, this is the way I read it. Rules as written, he only fires one extra shot. I expect that to be FAQ to be 100% clear, but he's really good at killing guardsmen and harlequins, you know. So the rest of your army already does that quite well anyway. Therefore, why do I need him? The only thing I can think of is he drops in after your opponent has dropped in their reinforcements. They still have that rule, don't they? So you can still do the like surprise, motherfucker. After somebody's dropped in some harlequins from maybe Strategic Reserve or a bunch of Gene Stealer Cult, you know, their book rumored for early next year. Could be GSC, could be Tyranids, the Xenos book that's coming out. So as a result, maybe he'll be useful. The downside to him is he's worse than the Kellamorph. So the Kellamorph, every hit you do, you get another shot. With this guy, it's every kill you do, you get another shot. Strength 4, -1, 1 damage. Which means he's now no longer any good at killing Marines, because they're all 2 wounds. He's currently amazing at killing Grey Knights, though. Yeah, but the Kellamorph is damage 2. He's got better guns. I think they're sort of fluff. Their story is that he's there to kill characters, but in reality, he's never going to kill characters. He's there to kill light infantry. That's it. So I've mixed in a little of the Death Guard green, and we're just going to come in and hit a couple of these spots. Not all of them, just a couple. And we'll do a couple that didn't have that original colour on, just to get slightly more variation again on what we've got. So a little bit down there we didn't have before, for instance. Everything that we've done this evening has been about modulating what is already there and changing it a little bit by adding on another colour or a lighter or darker shade. So all of the pillar, for instance, that we've done was all sprayed one colour grey. Fuck, I've done it again. We'll have to just do some green bits on our auxiliary pillar, the glue-on bit. Started off as like mid-tone grey. We highlighted it up, then we shaded it down, then we took some brown and put that over it, then we took some wash and put that over it, then we took some green and put that over it, and it just becomes like adding lots of things all over. And you can see the massive change that you get from just these small processes that really don't take long. We've painted this entire base, and to be fair, you could say this is good enough, like slap a black base rim on it and, you know, call it done. But we've got powders, we've got tufts, we've got loads of other shit to go on this. I'm just going to filter a lot of that from afar. So we're about a foot away, just spraying that with a bit of green. And it just about shows up in places, but not many. Just go a little more there. Don't really see a lot, but it just changes the hue of that. Oh yeah, that'll do. Before you go crazy and end up with a green base. But that, I think, looks pretty fucking cool. And if you imagine that with Pigeon Boy in the background, sort of there-ish, like that, I mean, it's going to look great. It's just going to look great. Hoping to get all of his wings done tomorrow. They're such a pain to do. Oh, it's not fun. painting white the way I've got to paint white for that. I don't mind painting white if it's like cartoon-esque sort of power armor and so on, like maybe doing a white scar or that Sister battle we did. You know, all these things, these are great, these are fun, these are cool. But fucking hell, those just highlighting white over the colour, and you've got to be careful, you can't go wrong, or you have to blend the colours back in afterwards. It's just unfun, completely unfun. There you go, there's a couple of dots of green to help shade this a little bit. I'm going to come in a bit harder on some of this, I think. And that'll go on the front of this. Just leave it with the blue tack on for a sec. That will sit flush, but there. That goes in there. Magnus's back foot is here, his front foot is about here, his hand is literally directly over that burning flamey orb of power or whatever. Looks great. With the red, with the multicolored wings we've got going on, there's so much going on with this base already. Don't want to do much more to it other than get those powders down. Now we're going to do that when we get the Rivalcraft delivery, which I'm hoping will be Tuesday, but I've been really shit, and despite talking to Sarah about ordering it several times, things that have happened in my life recently have meant that I just haven't. So hopefully Tuesday's stream will do this. If not, it will be Thursday's stream that we do this. And if we don't do this on Tuesday, then we'll be doing the loincloth, some of the horns perhaps on Magnus. Maybe do the horns last. I've got the ones on the wings to do as well. Kind of want to do that reverse. No, can't do reverse because I need the dark a bit nearer the... Okay, we'll work on the horns. But there we go. Easy way to paint a base. Kind of quick. Let's be honest. This thing's fucking massive. 2 hours and 20 minutes of stream time, which means really about an hour, maybe an hour and a quarter to get done. Imagine that was a terrain piece. You know, it's fucking damn near the size of a terrain piece. You could have got all of that done. That's one piece of terrain you can do in an evening. Very, very simply. Super cool, right? Super, super cool. So, now it's time to go into the whip gallery. You've seen enough of what I've done tonight. Let's see what you guys have been doing. Let's head over there. So, exclamation point Discord. Go and get yourself into the Discord. Head to the Work in Progress channel and upload some pics. Ideally, no more than 3. So we're going to start off with Commissar Alfarius and his Scion style guard. I mean, we've got Rangers and Vanguard style guard. We've got some Cadian bodies. You've got some Admech helmets. I see a Ranger manning the heavy weapon and some Vanguard on the rest. They're looking good. They're looking good. I had a Loyal 32 of Imperial Guard with the Vanguard heads that I was going to use as allies for my knights. And then I decided I hated the thought of soup, and so we binned that off entirely. But very cool, man. Very cool. Can't get behind your drink choice there. Can't do Copperberg. Got a Commissar. Is that Commissar Alfarius? That's the question. Guy with Flamer at the back. Nice, man. There's the odd Cadian helmet I can see. Looking good. And then there you go. There's that Ranger on the heavy botter as a spotter. Nice, Chief. Very nice. See him again when you get some paint on him. Love to see him at that stage. Jay's finally put down the airbrush. He's just disassembled the airbrush. I'm just going to get a good clean after the stream. Right, Danny, a little bit of Zenithal on some wizards. I'm going to match it using a brush when I get a chance. So this is what we did in our last private painting lesson. I showed Danny how to use a brush to get a Zenithal style highlight, so a value layer. You're just using a sketching motion and some very, very thin white paint to just build up a rough pattern for where the light should be on a model. What Danny's done is he's taken this and created a template for it by using an airbrush and just using a traditional Zenithal sort of top-down highlight to give him an idea of how to do it again when he tries to replicate it with a brush on a miniature. It's a really, really good way of painting something quickly. If you haven't got access to an airbrush, or maybe you just feel like not going through the rigmarole of the setup and the clean down and so on. Like I said, I've just broken this down to clean it after I finished streaming tonight. And you should clean it every time, really, but you know, I appreciate sometimes for some people they have to rush out or whatever. But that's what he's done here. He's given himself that roadmap that he can use to do it with a brush next time he needs to. So very, very simple method of doing this with an airbrush. Slightly trickier using a regular brush, but it's going to help teach him brush control, going to help get all that a little bit more cemented in, so well worth doing. Crown Blade, finished my navigator and made a start on my frigate. So this is more steampunk dwarves. Oh, it does look smart, mate. That looks really smart. Let's get a big pick. Yeah, nice job, dude. Nice job. You could highlight your bone a little bit more. There's some areas there that I think are just a base coat and a wash rather than having a highlight on it as well. And it's kind of easy to see when you look at the backpack. You've got that weird, you've got like the top bit, and then next to it you've got like a little chimney thing which holds this weather vane thing he's got going on. You can see it quite clearly there that it could do with that highlight. And because it's quite far up the model as well, I definitely just go back and do that. Same as on the head, just a quick line like that across the top of his shiny sort of fonts, you'd be fine. Overall though, mate, good job. I love these tufts that you've got as well. Blue to a light green, they're really smart. Butt shot. He's got some gizmos. Very clean, mate. I like it. Really, really like it. Keep it up. And then Le Boat. So here we go. We were talking about sub-assemblies earlier on. This is a solid example of some good sub-assemblies. I'd probably have left the front bubble thing off just because of personal preference. I'd like to get to the rest of the sort of canopy, the driver's area. Who's a boat driver? What's a boat driver called? Are they pilots? Do they pilot a boat? But the cabin, there we go. But this is what we were talking about. So you've got lots of things that you've left off the model to give you access to the rest of the model in a very easy way. It can be removed, even better. There you go. So he's done it in sub-assemblies. He's assembled quite large elements of the miniature, so we can get on with that without having to paint 1,000 tiny bits and then glue them all together. Good stuff, man. Let's see how you get on with it. Malades, absolutely swapped your school approach this week, so nothing but a small update on the base for my Scorpec Lord. So this is the base that is made out of coffee grounds and giant nerds, is that right? Captain or skipper, there we go. It does look like a Doritos wasteland. Very nacho cheese. Definitely needs a black base rim. Definitely needs a black base rim. We need a, if you continue with this for your basing scheme, then your Necron dynasty can be Nacho. Nice, man. It's vibrant. Again, look at the tufts. Tucked into some little crevices where you would expect perhaps a plant to get on with it. No goblin green. Banned. Saragon, here we go. Breacher Squad done. Basing is mostly the Rivalcraft Swamp Kit I won a month or so ago. Awesome, dude. And I see you've gone back in and tidied up those weapons a little bit after that oil wash. That looks much better, a lot more crisp, right? Nice work. I like them. Very simple in terms of color scheme when you compare it to your tanks and so on. But I like it. Not put it with a few minutes a pop? Definitely, mate. Definitely. Just probably on the rocket launcher. It may have already been done, but it's slightly out of focus. Just put a little bit of highlight on those missiles, just to bring those up just a little bit more. So there you go. Oh, here we go. Full shot the whole painted army, 1,235 points, including stuff I painted 18 years ago. Ton of bases need to be black rimmed. Oh, am I going to be disappointed? No, not that disappointed. Mate, this is great. I love that little bit of backdrop you've got there, like the aquarium plant or whatever that is. Great for your little piranha, the dot pattern coconut crab style scheme. Look at that fucking devilfish. Super sexy. Got an ethereal, some drones, some Markerlight Pathfinders, I think. Farsight, or whatever his name was. Not Farsight. Darkstrider, that was it. Stealth team, some Kroot. God, love those Kroot, mate. Nice purple. Krutox Riders, yes, boy. Oh, Ion Hammerhead. This guy, the broadside, needs some love on that gun. He really needs some love on that gun. Just hit that shit with a wash quick and much, much, much better. But, mate, this is solid. Even the stuff from 18 years ago, I can see which bits it is. I'm not going to call you out on it. But even that stuff looks okay with everything else you've got there. Solid work, champ. And I especially love these bright orange light engine, the heat from them. They look great. Pops out a load on this army. There it is, all in one shot again. Looks awesome, dude. Very well done. The rest of the works in progress and backlogs that haven't been started. Not pictures, 3 crises you should start collecting, and so many drones. Damn, man. Well, there's a Riptide in a bowl. There's another Riptide. A couple of broadsides. Some other crisis suits with apparently some discs of cheese. A piranha and some pathfinders. Nice. Plenty to keep you occupied there, mate. It's good. Lalith. Branch Independent went for more of a Madrone bark. I don't understand what Madrone is, but looks good. Yeah, I like this. You've got a very vibrant green base, but the greens on your mini are very muted. I'd like to see the greens on the miniature match the greens on the base. Wood elves are obviously like in a symbiotic relationship with their environment and so on, right? So if that's oh, I see. Okay, cool. What kind of tree? Are we talking like an evergreen tree or a deciduous tree or what? What's the deal? But like I say, they're in this kind of symbiotic relationship with their environment, so they mirror that. So I'd like to see the greens on this kind of brought up a little bit in relation to the base. And this is a Wood Elf Guard thing. I've forgotten what any of these are called. I used to have a Wood Elf army when they first got done in plastic. I had one. I don't recognise this mini though. This is So feedback. The face obviously is a focal point for the miniature, and it's overshadowed quite a lot by the helmet. So you could do with just maybe pulling out a few more highlights just to sort of pick out the nose, the chin, and so on. Brush for hire. Peace out. We'll see you again soon. Take it easy, man. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, just find a few areas to highlight to draw attention to the parts of the face that you can see. So like I said, nose, chin, lips. They're usually good ones. They form that nice line. The eyes are always going to be in a shadow anyway because they've got the brow which shadows them already, and then you've got the massive helmet on top of that which adds to the shadow. So don't worry too much about doing those, but just draw some more attention towards the face. The hair looks good. It's a good color. You've got a nice vibrant green. Again, I like that. It kind of matches what was going on with the base on the other guy a little bit more. So yeah, good work. This guy, the Dryad, just up the green a little bit more, bring him into the base, or change the base. That's a lot more work. That's and Des. Can you guess what my whip was tonight? Cleaning baby bottle tops. I don't know. Maybe taking paint out of citadel pots and putting it into dropper bottles, which is when you've got this many to do. A gigantic ball ache. So my tip to anyone who does this, keep bloody doing it. Don't end up with like 30 pots of paint and you're like, no, it'll never get done. Strata Minis. Oh, here we go. It's the last one. Here's whip. This is, oh, hello. Also, Lee Child, big fan. His new book comes out in like 9 days or something. About 1,500 points with the Death Guard. We got some Termies. The Dorito! Dorito Dreadnought. Best Dreadnought. I fucking love them. Please forge your book. Don't kill them. I really want 3. I don't have Marines. I just want a Dreadnought army. So we've got a Roly Boy. A load of Poxwalkers there at the front. That's a very cool Mortarian-ish conversion, I think, perhaps. Looking good. Got some Death Guard, a Beast of Nurgle. Not Death Guard. What is it? The Terminators. I've forgotten. What it's called. Death Shroud. There we go. Yes! I just got in there before you did, I think. Hello, Miss Half Damage. How are you? We're just doing the whip, so if you wanted to put something up, now is the time. But like now, it's the last shot. But everyone check out Miss Half Damage on Instagram because she's fucking great. Nice, dude. Very nice. The only criticism I've got is your bases could do with something else being done to them. You've got 2 very sort of contrasting colours, that kind of bronze tandy flesh kind of colour, and then this sort of darker green. On a stream later on this week, we're going to be using weathering powders to really jazz up the base we worked on this evening. So maybe drop by for that stream, see how we do that. Maybe you could pick up a couple of those techniques and apply it to what you've got here as well. But overall, mate, I love the theme of the army. Really nice, solid colour scheme. I love the Dorito because he is an absolute boss. Good work. Solid work. We got anything else in here? Des. Oh, look at this. Look at how beautiful this is. Now, some things that you should never do when it comes to dropper bottles. And a relatively famous YouTuber fell foul of this when he didn't really read the instructions I sent him. He may have taken the Model Air paint and put that into another dropper bottle and thinned it, and I couldn't for the life of me work out why he'd done that. I did tell him he was a bit of an idiot. You don't have a good whip? Miss Half Damage. I'm disappointed. Let's go show off some of your Instagram work instead. Oh, we've got pictures of the fam. We'll skip past that in case you don't want them on the stream. Very good for a speed paint, I'm not gonna lie. That's looking pretty cool. This one, I've seen you painting this. I've seen some of the work in progress pics of this. This is just lovely. How long did it take you to do that flipping scarf? Because that looks like it took quite a while. But I love it. Super nice skin tones. All very warm. It's awesome. I saw this one as well. I love the little, there you go, sort of cartoon-esque look that you've got going on. Where's that punk that you did though? That's the one I really like. She's here somewhere. Here she is. I love this. This is such an ace mini. Look at that. Fantastic work. Go give Miss Half Damage a follow over on Instagram. We're all done in the whip. We've whipped it all out. Here's my airbrush ready for cleaning straight after the stream. But tonight, we took this gargantuan base for Magnus the Blue. For a black undercoat, all the way up to something you could put down on a finished miniature if you wanted to. Now, we're going to go one step above this as well. Obviously, we've got this glowy orb to do, and that's just blue tacked on for a second rather than actually stuck down. But we're going to take some weathering powders and really make this base look special. We're going to do that ideally on Tuesday night stream if I've got them in time. It may be Thursday nights because I've been super shit at ordering them because life has gotten in the way. So do tune in for that. Don't forget as well, on the 29th of the month, you could win either the contents of the mystery box, which is substantial, or your choice of Sergeant Ripper Jackson, the coolest sergeant in all of the Catachan Guard, or Lord Inquisitor Kyra Draxus, the new Inquisitor that came out with the Pariah book and all that sort of jazz. Very cool mini, very cool rules as well. So one of those two, all the contents of the mystery box, and you could win a £50 hobby voucher. So make sure you are here for the end of the month stream on Thursday, the 29th of the month. Next month, on the 5th, I'm taking a Thursday off. It's my girlfriend's birthday, so won't be streaming that day. But otherwise, next month we will be doing the Necronathon 2, probably on the weekend of the 21st, 22nd, and into Monday the 23rd, where we're going to paint somewhere in the region of 60 models, including the Silent King, the Void Dragon, and the Nightbringer, because I hate my life. Quite clearly, hate it with actual passion and real hatred. Don't know why I do this shit to myself, but it's funny and you guys love it. So let's go find somebody on Twitch to pass this hobby love on to before I make any other dumbass suggestions about things to do in my spare time. Here's somewhere to go we haven't been for a little while, and he's painting something very cool. What is this, flat cap season? We're going to raid. I've missed the R off his name, which was really silly. Reiner! When we get there, give this man some love. He's an epic artist. Absolute superstar. Get all the emotes in the chat. Make sure everyone knows where you've come from. Doomsday Arts can suck a dick. Shut up. Shit. Moss Dojaf. Definitely not that, is it? Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Peace out, everyone. See you tomorrow at 6-ish on the Hellstorm stream and Tuesday at 9 right here. Have a good one. Bye.